Welcome back to youtube.com/geekalair. Today we are going to have a look at the latest updates on the Nintendo Switch Online for the retro consoles and the updated games that they've whacked on the system there. So we'll jump straight into it and have a look at the Nintendo 64 offerings that they have now. And while that's loading up, just a quick mention of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. That will be tomorrow night, Thursday, 8 PM Australian time. Join myself, Unky Dunky and Troy for a discussion of the games we've played during the week. A list of the upcoming news and new releases along with the standoff. And the standoff is the topic we pick each week. We'll be throwing a number of games up there and then picking the winner before we jump into the audience participation in the live stream there. So that's 8 o'clock Thursday evenings Australian time. Jump into that, join us in the live stream, and we'll get to your chats and comments as we're going. We can see as we've just jumped into the Nintendo 64 offerings, the only new one there we've got is GoldenEye 007, which is quite funny that they've released that now after the updated version came to the Switch and the Xbox Series console there. So not much there in terms of the Nintendo 64. We'll jump over to the Mega Drive offerings, and I don't think, when I did check, that there was anything extra on there that we did not see from last month. No, so we've got Alien Storm, so nothing new in the offering there for the Mega Drive. Jump over to the Super Nintendo. Let's see what offerings they've got there. And we have got Side Pocket. That's a pretty ordinary offering for the month of March there. Side Pocket, again, I don't know how they're choosing these releases, because quite honestly that is average at best. Have a look at the original Nintendo NES. See what they've got on that one. See if it's a bit better than Side Pocket. Side Pocket. Ordinary. We've got two there, so that's what Xevious. Hopefully pronouncing that right. Xevious. And yeah, that's the only problem with it. So, yeah, so bit of a top-down shmup from the NES. Pretty basic, as you'd expect. And if we go to the game selection, and I'm sure there's just the Japanese version of it. We'll have a look. Password input and level 1. Never played this before, so I'm not sure what our aim is here, but it's one of those things, I suppose, that if you've got, especially when you get back to the NES, or the SNES, some of the games still hold up, but a lot of the NES don't really, and it's just a matter of if you have some sort of interest in reliving some old memories of games that you had played before. So that's, again, pretty average offerings on the NES. We'll jump over to the new ones, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance. So we'll jump into the Game Boy first, have a quick squiz at what we have got on offer for the March updates on that one. And we've got, I think Kirby's Dream Land came out last month, I should say. We've got Burger Time Deluxe. I do remember playing that back in the day on the old handheld Game Boy. Well, I can't really remember much about it. I think you Have we got to collect these or dodge them? No, dodge them. Alright, there you go. Missed that one. Can't remember much about that one, but again, pretty average offerings there for that one, which is a common theme across the board. There hasn't been much in terms of new content for any of these older consoles that are really worth spending a lot of time into. And then Metroid Fusion is the updates for the Game Boy Advance. So you've got the European version there, the NTSC version there. I'm not sure what the big difference is there, but you know, they're ones that we've had from last month. So not a massive offering there for the month. I'd suggest probably Metroid Fusion is probably the best one that you're going to be looking at there. We can skip over Super Nintendo because that was average side pocket, average. So Metroid Fusion, and then the Nintendo 64 offering, which is just escaped me. We'll jump back into that, and the offering there for the March updates. Oh, GoldenEye, of course. So the reality is, if you've got Game Pass, it's probably the better way to do it. Is the upraised style there. I think this will, if we jump into that and just load it quickly, I think that's just going to be a standard offering as to what we saw on the N64 when it was released. I don't think there's going to be anything upraised or updated about any of that. So that's just literally the standard offerings that you had. We'll jump into it just to make sure, but I'd be fairly certain it's not going to have the upres that had on the Game Pass version or the newer Switch version. No, it doesn't look like it does. So if you've got Game Pass, certainly you're better off jumping into GoldenEye. Onto Game Pass with a download there is probably a better option. If you don't, you know, do you want to play the old style on the Switch Online if you've got that, or do you want to go out and purchase the Nintendo Switch release for that? So the reality is, in terms of the offerings for March, Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance is probably the only one you'd be looking at there, and hopefully, let's be honest, it sort of goes in waves with what they offer month to month. So hopefully April ends up being a bit better month there. So I suppose it is what it is. We can't control what they release. We've just got to gleefully accept it and decide whether it's worth your time continuing on with the Nintendo Switch Online. And then you're obviously paying the extra for the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo 64 offerings there. So that'll do us for this rundown of the March offerings of Nintendo Switch Online. If you've enjoyed this one, check out the channel. There's plenty of offerings during the week. Update videos like this, install videos, gameplay videos, and of course, as I mentioned at the top, the Gaming Enforcement Agency, our podcast show that goes up 8 p.m. Eastern Australian time every Thursday evening. And jump into that. Jump into the live chat there as well. We'll try and get to that. And if you can't for some reason jump onto YouTube and join us, by all means check out the podcast offering of your choice, and you can download the audio version. That'll go live as well not long after the show has concluded. And what else can you do with the channel? You can like it, you can subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something. Old Uncle Donkey. Donkey.